Hello everyone and welcome back to Cyber Realm. It's Hunter behind the mic, and in today's video we are going to be looking at viewport navigation in Blender. Now if you take a look at sorry, that's my phone going, but if you take a look at the Blender interface, it's filled with a lot of stuff which could probably get you all confused if you're new to the 3D environment, but it's actually pretty easy once you get around the system. It's not that hard. Now easy I'm basically going to start by talking about the selection. If we look here, if I want to select any of these objects, all I have to do is left click any of them. You see, if I left click, there is an orange box that covers all of it. Now if I select this, you see it turns into orange, and if I click on this camera guy, see, it turns into orange. Now if I want to multiple select all of them, all I have to do is left click and drag all over it, and boom, it has selected all that are in the box. Now there are many other options of selecting. You can come here to the select button above here. If you press this, you can just say select all, or if you have a lot of stuff and you want to select everything, if I press A, it's going to select everything within the scene that you have selected. And now if I can select the options here, some of them you can see they have shortcut keys around them. So there are types of selection. Box selection is the normal one that we have been using to select everything. We have circle selection, and then the lasso selection. Now there is something, if you say circle selection, it's as simple as I click, or let me first and select everything like that. Then I come and then I choose circle select. If I drop this, select this, and then now that is circle selecting. It's like you click on something and they are all selected. Now if I want to select the lasso style, let me just choose this. If I draw a lasso around it, it selects what is inside the selection. Let me do that again, and I try selecting all. So it will put everything that you have selected inside, that is within this curve, will be selected. That's still what is working for when you're doing multiple stuff on a scene. You may need this in the future, but this is just a style of selection. And those are the basics about selection. We shall come into more styles. There are really many options of selection, but we shall talk about those in different videos as we go along. And trust me, you will get along with how to work with this system of selection. Now, if you want to deselect, all you have to do is click. Let's assume it's selected. If I want to deselect this, all I have to do is click aside, and then everything is deselected. And if I want to select all again, like I say, all I have to do is press A, and everything will be selected. Next, we are going to be talking about the navigation system. Now, in the navigation system, we can see these buttons around here. Now, these are the ones we are going to be talking about inside the navigation system. Now, I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but this is our main work area in Blender. The navigation system here, I'm going to start with this little tool you're seeing here that looks like a cross in how should I call it? Anyways, if you look at it, it has X, Z, and Y on all sides. Now, in the 3D environment, we have three axes. We have the Z axis, which comes from up going down, and then we have the X axis, which comes from the other side to this side, and then we have the Y axis, which comes from this side to the other side. Now, the green line means the X axis, and it means the Y axis, and then the red line means the X axis. Now, I know the Z axis has not been drawn here yet, but we can live with that because obviously it means like going up. Now, if you look closely, if I hover over this tool, it turns into a circle, and every letter that I point in becomes white inside it. If I say, let me select the Y axis, and if I click like this, you can see it turns on to the Y direction. It places your camera view in the Y direction. Now we are looking through the Y direction, and what we only see is the z-axis and then the x-axis. Now if you look over here, it is saying back orthographic mode. This is the mode that we are in. It's the back of it, and if I click again, it will show the front orthographic mode. Now if I say, let me see the side, if I press X is the right orthographic mode, and if I press again, it's going to take us to the left orthographic mode. If I press Z, it's going to take us to the top, and it's going to read top orthographic mode. And then if I press it again, it's going to take us to the bottom orthographic mode. Now this is how we navigate around. If you want to have to look around your scene straightly, maybe you're designing something, rendering it out from a 2D image to this to 3D, you may need to use these styles to come out with something. But another style, that's not only where we can play around with the rotation. It mainly helps you rotate around your scene, but you see, if I hover over and left click it, and then I hold the left click and drag around, you can see that it's now rotating to my angle of desire. It's in perspective mode. If you look above, it's showing perspective mode. So if I hover around here, you can see that I can look at my whole scene in all different angles. You'll see the fun about this in future when we start getting real scenes inside our Blender. Now, there are other controls. I've just spoken about rotation. There are other ways you can rotate this. If you click the middle mouse button and then hold shift, it pans. But if you just click the middle mouse button without holding shift, it will do what we just done, which is rotation. It rotates around. That's our first upper. It still works the job of this, but that's like a shortcut key for it. Now, there are other shortcut keys like pressing num keys. If you press those, I'm not going to show you about those shortcut keys right now. They'll be in a separate video. But let's go to the next control. Now, our next navigation is this lens you're seeing here. Now, this means zoom. It means to zoom in. You want to draw closer to the object. If I hold it, if I click the lens and then I drag down, it zooms out. And if I drag up, it zooms in. Now this means zooming. You can zoom in and out of the scene constantly. It's unlimited. Though it has a limit while zooming in, I think. Yeah, it has a limit. When it reaches the center, drops out, stops zooming, and you have to just zoom out. Now, the shortcut for trying to zoom in when you're using a mouse, the fastest way to zoom in is to just simply scroll your mouse if you're using a mouse, and then it will scroll through, will zoom in and out of the object. That's the simple way of doing it. Now, let's go to the next tool, which is the panning mode. You see this little hand here? If I hold it and then I drag it to the left hand side, the object goes to the left. The scene moves to the left. This is called panning. Now, if I take it to the right, it moves to the right. Now, this is our panning tool. If we want to pan around the object, maybe it's a long big scene and we want to view all of it, pan around the camera, that's how we do it. Now the other style, I remember mistakenly showing it, but you can hold shift and then you press the middle mouse button and then you drag around and it will still do the panning without having to click the hand on the side. Basically, that's it about panning. Now, our next tool here is the camera. Now, you see this camera, we have a camera in scene. If you don't have a camera in scene, if you delete the camera in scene, you won't be able to use this tool. But what's about it is, if I clicked it, our view goes away from the viewport and then it jumps to the camera view. Now, here, this is what is finally rendered out. If I say I want to render this out, this is what the viewers shall be able to see, the results of the viewers. And then our final tool here is this mode. This changes your view from an orthographic mode or from perspective mode to orthographic, back and forth. So for example, if I click this, our mode changes. If you're doing stylized designs like 2D art style of, the orthographic mode doesn't matter how the interface has to look or how the design has to look. It just makes the work so plain. For example, let me duplicate this and then place it here, and then I duplicate another one, and then I drag it here, just like that. Now, for example, these three objects in realistic mode, they're not supposed to look like this. You see, this is what orthographic mode looks like. This is how it shows you like. But once we go to perspective mode, it looks very realistic, showing the principle that the object that is nearer is always bigger than the object that is far away. Unlike the orthographic mode, everything is the same size. The one far away and the one nearby, they're all the same size. And to me, it even looks like the one far away is looking bigger. I don't know which kind of logic is that, but if you're doing 2D art stylized stuff, that's the best design you could take. But for now, we shall switch back to perspective mode. Now, let us talk more about something maybe like adding objects and everything else. For example, if you see this small menu here, there is the view part. This view part, I think we've used it to some point, not completely, but to some point. Now, for example, this is part of navigation still. We shall learn more tricks in it in future, but let me say, for example, I wanted to switch cameras, something like that. We could select this from here, but that's not what I want to do for now. I want to come here, those viewports that we've been trying with this, they're all listed in the view here. If I clicked here and then I came to viewport, they're right here. If you click, it will take you to them. It even shows the shortcut keys about them. Please have some time and then you master those shortcut keys. When we come to navigation, have the orbit, all these things that I've been trying to do, they are here with shortcuts. Now there are just a few things that are not added on the face of Blender, but they're really interesting tools to use. There is flying navigation and walking navigation. Now this flying navigation and walking navigation helps you if you want to fly around your scene. Let me say you've made a city and you want the camera to fly around the city. You could possibly be in need of this flying. Or if you want to walk around the city like as if you would be walking around it in a video game, still this would work for you best. So for example, if I clicked the flying mode and then you see it looks like it's a drone, and if I try to press the forward button, it has a momentum first and then it keeps on moving and moving, and it's really automated. You don't have to keep pressing. The more you keep pressing, the faster it goes. So if I press backward, I would reduce its speed, and slowly it's going backwards. So like this is one interesting way to get out of the mode without changing, to reset back to where you were. Just right click and then it will take you back to where you were. If you want to stay where the camera is, you always have to left click. Let's try this again using the other mode of walking. Now walking is the most easiest to control. We all know that walking is the easiest way of doing things. If we say we fly, some of us crashing planes. So walking is easy to stop and everything. We didn't let go, it stops walking. And you can see if I want to now keep this view instead of snapping back where I was, all I have to do is left click and then boom, to stay where I'm looking. Now, if you want to snap back to the object, let me say for example, for the viewport to go back to snap an object and you look directly at a single particular object, you can come here to view and then you select frame selected, which is numpad point. If I select this, you see it puts the frame directly into the object that we've selected. Let's try another object. Let me say for example, I'll just try and rotate and look for the light. This is the light. Sorry, I haven't yet shown you that. This is the light. So if I come to view and then I say frame selected, it will snap to the light. Take a look at that. Alright guys, I think let me end here with this video. In the next video, we are going to be probably talking about adding objects. The way we have been adding, we're just going to be doing more of it in detail, and then we shall be able to learn how to play around with them, move them to the side, arrange them, and then we shall learn how to delete them. Also learn about the different areas we have in Blender so that we could get more detailed with it. Alright guys, thanks for watching and happy independence to all my fellow Ugandans. I will see you in the next video.